Welcome back to By Faith. My name is Maribel Johnson, and today I would like to talk about the topic whether you are a real boss. So, today, or in today's world, we are always told to be a boss, make boss moves, be the one, and whatsoever. However, we don't realize that the understanding of the worldly boss does not equate to the same understanding of the biblical so called boss. In order to understand what the Bible is actually teaching us about being a boss or being someone in charge, we would have to look at what a real boss or the ultimate boss, who he is first, and what he lived like. What did he do? So how is his life and his position being illustrated? We would want to start with the definition of a boss in this world or in our understanding. And according to the dictionary, a boss is a person who is in charge of a worker, a group, or organization. Furthermore, it says that a boss gives orders in a domineering manner. So, in today's understanding, a boss is someone who has usually a lot of money and is very successful, I'd say, who therefore has the affluence and the influence, right? And everyone is trying to get to their level. Everyone is trying to level up, right? We are trying to get to that type of, platform where we have that affluence and that influence. However, as I said before, this is not the same understanding that the Bible illustrates as being a boss. And I always say it in parentheses because a boss is really a leader, and a leader is just something different from what we understand to be a leader or someone in charge. So we would want to look at Jesus. How did Jesus live his life? What did he do? What did he come for? So, as I previously said, the ultimate boss is God, and God is defined by his love and by his service. God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son, that whomsoever believes in him shall not perish but receive everlasting life. So it says in John 3:16. So God is actually defined by his love, as I said. And being defined by his love. So he made this ultimate sacrifice. When Jesus came, he made this ultimate sacrifice and laid his life down. So he was in obedience to God, saying, well, I will do this, and I will do it out of love, and I will do it because I came to serve. So we go a little bit further and we see that he is laying his life down. He is actually here for us. We are sinners, commoners. He didn't have to do that for us, but his love was so great that he came for common people, not as we understand, because bosses in this world usually move with like-minded or with their peers, people that are as affluent and as influential as they are. They do not necessarily move with people that are, if you will, below them. Why? Because they feel like they can only level up if they only move with their own people. If they move with commoners, if you will, then that is maybe to help, maybe to, do whatever they can do for the people that are in the common field. But as friends and associates and all the likes, they are actually among their own. And this is not what Jesus did. So Jesus came and he was hanging out with robbers, with people who were lying, people who were stealing, people who just prostitutes, murderers. I mean, he was doing the most, right, among people that would be considered scum. We would look at them like, nah, I don't think so. Either out of fear or out of, yeah, if you will, a disgust, if because he touched lepers. He touched people that were severely sick. I mean, they were demon possessed. Whomever was in need of him, he came to. Whomever called him, he came to. He would never say, oh, I'm not going to be with you today, or I'm not going to eat with you today because I feel like I'm God. I mean, come on. I'm a king. I'm the king. Why would I have to hang out with you? Why would I even do that? But he came understanding that he had a mission on here, and he did not sway away from it, not 1 minute. So the Bible states in Philippians chapter 2, 5 to 8, let this mind be in you, which was also in Christ Jesus, who being in the form of God did not consider it robbery to be equal with God, but made himself of no reputation, taking the form of a bondservant and coming in the likeness of men. And being found in appearance as a man, he humbled himself and became obedient to the point of death, even the death of the cross. So we understand hereby that even though he knew that he was God, he still humbled himself. He humbled himself. This is something that we have or seem to have a problem with. We don't want to be obedient because everybody wants to be a boss. So that means that I'm always on top of someone, looking down to someone or on someone. And I don't have to take any kind of instruction because I'm already a boss. So why would I even listen to you, right? But this is a problem. If we do not have a teachable spirit, then we will not be able to grow, and we will never be able to do completely what God has assigned us to do on this earth. So going back to the life of Christ, the ultimate boss, if you will, we have to understand the next point, which is, where did he live? If we look at bosses nowadays, they live in their big old mansions and they have houses and they have cars and they have all kinds of stuff. Things that we really do not even need. They have it. And it is not, I'm not saying that it is anything bad that if you have it, that you are pampering yourself or you're living the lifestyle that you feel that you want to live, as long as it is according to God's will. But what I'm saying is that Jesus did not come in that form. He says in Matthew 8:20, Jesus replied, foxes have dens to live in, and birds have nests, but the Son of Man has no place even to lay his head. So he understood, as I said, his assignment. He did not come to live here and show that he was God. Number one, he did not have to puff himself up and make you understand not only who he was, but what he was capable of. He came actually to serve. So it says even in Mark 10:45, it says, for even the Son of Man did not come to be served, but to serve and to give his life a ransom for many. If we continue, it says in John 13:12 to 15, so when he had washed their feet, taken his garments, and sat down again, he said to them, do you know what I have done to you? You call me teacher and Lord, and you say, well, for so I am. If then your Lord and teacher have washed your feet, you also ought to wash one another's feet, for I have given you an example that you should do as I have done to you. Again, he came to serve. He did not come to show who he was, what he could do, because honestly, he could have came and been like, I'm God. Here I go. Let's do this, or I do that. But, or even to prove himself, right? He could have proven himself so many times, but he didn't. Even to the devil, he could have proven himself when the Spirit led him to be tempted in the wilderness, where the enemy told him to actually throw himself from the pinnacle of the mountain and actually throw himself down, because the angels would come and rescue him, right? He could have done that, but Jesus spoke against that. He spoke against it because he said that he did not even come for that. This is not what he should do, and he should not be tempted. Well, you should not tempt your God. Let's say it this way. This is the correct version, is you should not tempt your God or the Lord your God. And this is what we should bear in mind. Not to do those things to pump ourselves up or pump somebody else up, prove something to somebody else or anything of the likes. Whatever we do, we should do it to the glory of God. And this is a perfect example of Jesus humbling himself again. He just did not look for us to, or for himself to be glorified on earth as the Messiah, to pump his mind up. He knew who he was. At all times, he knew who he was. If he was glorified, it's because he deserved it. He understood who he was without having to prove who he was. We have to understand, like, why is he the boss? He's the boss because he is the way, the truth, and the life. The word says that no one comes to the Father except through him. So that means that he is everything. He is life. He is the way to ultimate life. And everything, the earth is God's and the fullness thereof. So that means that everything that we have here is God's, including you and I. So that means that he owns it all. No need to do too many things, no need to say too much, but he owns it all, including you and I. Yet he is saying, if you want to be his and you want to be his in the correct manner, then you are a servant first. If you want to be a boss, then you are a servant first. And this is what many people do not understand. They think that I don't take instruction, I don't humble myself, I'm never meek, I don't have to show that I can even learn because I already know it all. And well, yeah, nobody can teach me anything because I'm already there. What can you tell me? I have all the money, I have all the affluence, and I have all the influence. And people, even at lower statuses, feel like this is where they have to either get to, and they start in their territory to do the same thing. I'm not taking anything from you. I'm not believing you. I'm not listening to you. You are nobody in my eyes. You are below my standard. You are below my shoe, or whatever it may be. And this is something that God frowns upon. The Bible teaches us this in Luke 22:24-30. It says, now there was also a dispute among them as to which of them should be considered the greatest. So here we go again with the problem of we always want to be the greatest. And he said to them, meaning Jesus, the kings of the Gentiles exercise lordship over them, and those who exercise authority over them are called benefactors. But not so among you. On the contrary, he who is the greatest among you, let him be as the younger, and he who governs as he who serves. And now comes the benefit out of it. For who is greater, he who sits at the table or he who serves? Is it not he who sits at the table? Yet I am among you as the one who serves. But you are those who have continued with me in my trials, and I bestow upon you a kingdom, just as my Father bestowed one upon me, that you may eat and drink at my table in my kingdom, and sit on thrones judging the 12 tribes of Israel. So what do we understand? We understand that in God's economy, you start down here and then you will be the greater person or the greater one. You don't just go and you are already the greatest because you feel like you should be the greatest. You have done all of these deeds. You have, I don't know, felt like you have surfed so well or whatever. This is not the point. First of all, we start with our heart and we start with our mind. Where are our thoughts? Where are our hearts? Are we walking in integrity, right? Towards God first. And we serve, we love, or we learn to love to serve. If you are not a servant, then learn to serve. And you will see the benefits of the Lord coming through in your life. We should refrain from thinking that we always have to make these boss moves, and boss moves are only the ones according to life's standards, secular standards. God's standards are the best, and they actually take us to greater heights. And also, we have to understand that actually, money and certain access to certain things, they make us crumble because they show the real us, right? And the real us is not necessarily developed enough or matured enough to handle all of these things. So not everyone is going to be a so-called boss. You have to learn to work with whatever God is giving you, and then he will trust you or entrust you with more. According to your maturity, you will receive more to work with, because of course a child will never be able to just drive a car, even though at the level of maturity, once he gets to that point of maturity, once he gets to that level of growth, she will be able to drive that car. But at this moment of being a baby, there is no way of driving that car. So we have to learn to grow. We have to learn to be obedient. We have to learn to humble ourselves. Humility, it seems, in this society, as I said, is a great challenge to many people because we all want to be bosses. But being a boss means to be a servant first. It means to start down here and, well, I don't want to just say work your way up, but grow your way up, right? Grow your way up and be what and who God has called you to be first. Seek ye the kingdom of God first, and all of these things shall be added unto you. Anything that you need will come in obedience to God, in your love to God, and your integrity to God. All right. And this is how we get to the point where we really want to be. And that makes us a real boss. I pray that this video has blessed your soul, and it has also helped with the understanding, the true understanding of what a so-called boss really is. And of course, as usually, we don't ever want to forget that everything in the Lord moves by faith. Be blessed. Lord, if I find favor in your sight, Lord, please hear my heart's cry. I'm desperately waiting to be where you are. I cross the hottest desert. I travel near or far for your glory. I will do anything just to see you, to behold you as my King. For your glory, I will do anything just to see you, to behold you as my King. Lord, if I find favor